Okay, hi. I hope you guys like that. Welcome, Painters Over Light and patrons of Warwick Center for the Arts. My name is Danielle Salisbury. I'm Executive Director at the Art Center, and I am thrilled to be welcoming our virtual audience to this special event. What you just watched is a behind-the-scenes look at how this exhibit came together. Thank you, Liam Salisbury, for producing this 7-minute video that captures 2.5 hours that the group spent installing the show. It was a great idea. It was the group's idea to do a video of their installation. And it was really an honor for me to see their great teamwork, energy, camaraderie. I think you can even see it in that sped up video, how they frequently stood back, looked at each other's work, helped each other out. So let me just get started here. I have to say you're in for a real treat. Seeing this exhibit, the level of professionalism and quality is exceptional. We have 11 artists participating with over 80 works of art. I can't believe we fit them all in here. So just a note that we'll be taking you on a tour around the gallery, and we'll show you every piece of artwork in the show and invite each artist to share brief notes about their work. The guests in this their mics are muted. But please do share your comments in the comment box or on the Facebook Live chat in the Facebook stream. So we encourage the dialogue. We're really looking forward to this conversation. Okay, so thank you for joining us. We are going to begin a video, like I said, a video tour around the room, so that those of you that can't come in person will at least be able to see this. The gallery is open Wednesday through Saturday from 11 to 3. So if you are able, do come visit in person to see the works of art. This Saturday, unfortunately, the gallery will be closed for a special event. However, we are opening on Sunday for an even more interesting thing. A small number of the group will be gathering here to paint together from 11 to 3 on Sunday. So you're invited to view online or in person. Okay, so now I would like to personally thank Anthony Tomaselli for introducing me to this very special and talented group of artists. And I have asked Anthony to share a little bit from his perspective about the group, because I think it's all because of you, right?
Well, no, well,
you were the spark, but
I taught a workshop at the Wickford Art Association 6 years ago. And as we were, and then my workshops can be pretty intense and very personalized. And so you get to know each other. And many of you might know I own Tea's restaurant. So on the way out, a few people said, hey, why don't we go to breakfast next Saturday? And I said, sure. So what happened, we started going to breakfast and they brought work. And in Narragansett, where we meet, there's a room that fits 12 at the table. And we would just critique, eat, have breakfast. And one day somebody said, we should form a group. And I agreed. And I said, okay, you know, this is a very special thing when you can share, not only in a gallery setting as we have now, but with each other, trials and tribulations. So we formed the group, we gave it a name, and we said we would meet once a month on Saturdays, and pretty much we have. COVID put a little dent in it. And in 6 years, now I've been painting since I was very young, and now I'm getting to the very old stage of my life. But I was teaching some people that had very rarely painted. So in 6 years, the amount of improvement that has happened and the camaraderie and friendships we've developed is extraordinary. So not to take up any more time, the rest of you can fill in, hopefully, what I haven't. They're just fabulous people, and they're one of my goals subliminally, but now more overtly in life, is to not only share what I do, get off there, or I don't have time to do what I need to do, and get them painting. And this group has taken on that and more. Come to the show. These I can't believe the level of painting I'm looking at right now in the show from everyone, not counting me. So take it away. You're muted, Danielle.
Okay, here I am.
Anyway, if you have any questions for me, I can answer quickly, but so the work is just fabulous. It's funny talking to muted. You know,
Yeah.
I'm used to people speaking at me, saying things while I'm talking.
Right, okay, so
Like Patty Sylvia and Stephen Schultz and whatnot.
all right, are you guys able to unmute? We were gonna open up the dialogue at this point.
Being muted is not my normal state.
Like I said, Stephen Schultz.
All right.
When you guys introduce yourselves, please not only introduce yourself as part of Painters Over Light, but tell them what you do in your life, because one of my conversations with every young or even adult artists is, you know, if you think you're just going to paint and not get a job, you know, and don't think because you have a job you can't paint, or if you have a family you can't paint. It's extraordinary when what people do when they put their minds to it. Anyway, Stephen.
All right. Are we ready to roll with the gallery tour?
Let it go, let it roll.
All right. So we're going to go around the gallery, and I would just like to say thank you to one of our board members, Susan Scotty, who is at the very last minute stepped up to do the to be the videographer. Okay, so our first artist, where's my, okay, we're going to go around the room, is David Bosworth.
Oz.
Oh,
Let's see. Yeah, look at that. That painting reminds me of Baltimore. I don't, where was that? Where is that location?
the location is actually Wickford, Rhode Island, where
Oh, oh yeah.
Anthony had one of those workshops. They
Excellent.
kicked off from there.
There's a funny story about David Bosworth. He was in my studio at a gallery night a number of years ago. He's looking at all the work, and I get into a conversation. He lives across the street from me. He's a conservator. He's run the Mystic Seaport Museum. Was that a museum or a gallery? I mean, speak up, people. Tell them what you do. You guys are great. I mean, it's an extraordinary thing to be able to do these paintings, continue your careers. It's fabulous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And take care of your families.
Does anyone out there in our audience have any questions or comments? Feel free to put that in the chat box there. That painting right there, I think a few of my family members are in this, and that might end up in our house. I really like that one.
I can hope.
Very nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can always come back. I mean, you know, let's go around, and then definitely if specific questions come up. Oh, and that's a great place to stop right there. So this is Bob Lavoy. Am I saying your name right, Bob? Okay. This painting, I put this as the featured piece for our Facebook event because as soon as I saw this image, I knew immediately where it was in Apponaug. And I thought, how the heck did he do that? Because that is the most frightening location in the middle of one of our roundabouts. So I asked him about it yesterday.
Taken from a photo. I did not stand there very long.
Yeah, but I think you had said even getting the photo was a little bit
Yeah, that was
dicey.
That was hairy. So right now I'm lucky enough to be able to paint full-time. For since 1975 to about 5 years ago, I was a graphic designer and illustrator. The last 30 years at Hasbro as an art director and illustrator and pretty much everything they asked me to do. So I've been lucky to get paid to do something I love for my whole career.
Yeah.
And now I get to paint with
So I
these
met
guys.
Boz in my studio as well, a couple of Christmases ago. Bob walked into my studio and said, I want to paint loose. And I gave him a hard time. And I can give people a hard time if you know me. And I said, well, you paint? He goes, yeah, I paint in gouache. And I made another face. And I said, galleries don't want gouache. I said, let me see some of your work. He showed me his work and it was unbelievable. 2 months later, he was a full-fledged member of the Providence Art Club, an exhibiting artist. And he got invited. He's a latecomer to the group. He got invited. We invited Bob into the group. He graciously accepted, and fabulous human being and a great painter, as you can see.
Yeah.
Great painter, just a great guy. And he lives down the street too.
Yep.
I don't know what it is.
I'm on the other side of the.
I'm in Warwick. I'm in Connecticut, so it's crazy. Yeah. So
But this is a great group. It's just so inspiring every time we meet. And I can't wait to start getting together on a regular basis again.
Yeah, second that.
Mm.
nice painting, Bob.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just sent a question on chat and I was wondering, how long does it take Bob to paint, say this painting? Is it,
Well, I
is
have
this
cut
done
down-
in 2
The
hours?
proverbial
Bob?
question.
I have cut down on my time. They're taking
Uh-huh.
me about 2 weeks now, maybe 2.5, depending on how big, and
And
So I
that's
cut
full
it down.
time, right, Bob?
6 weeks to 2.5 weeks, which is, I'm moving on cutting that down a little bit too, but
How many days a week do you paint?
5,
5 days a week. How many
Yeah.
hours on a session?
probably 7.
7. Imagine that.
Wow.
He paints 5 days a week.
Yeah.
All you
Wow.
people that are painting 1 day a week, all you viewers out there.
I've been doing it
Great.
since I was probably 5, so.
Wow. So, yeah, we're going to move along. I just wanted to mention, though, that some of those some of Bob's paintings are really just precious. You know, there are these small, jam-packed little canvases.
Yeah.
So you got to check them out. Okay, so next on the list is Didem Kokturk. Wonderful sensibility in this, in these works. Lots of, I just love the water. I love, she had one in our last show, Pod Life. That was a favorite of ours. So what can you share with us? I have your artist statement as well, but we'd love to hear from you.
Actually, most of these paintings came out of one of our workshops that we did together. We talk a lot about, during our critiques and our conversations, we talk a lot about how a painting makes you feel when you first see it. So in most of these paintings that are up at Warwick, I try to use the interaction of light and atmosphere, which is another favorite topic of ours, to evoke a particular mood or a feeling in the viewer. So we're constantly talking about how we can make our paintings better, how we can elicit more emotion from the viewer as well as from ourselves. So it's been an amazing ride, I have to tell you. It's been quite fun.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You've been only painting for 6 years,
Yeah,
pretty much.
Have
You
fun.
started when that day you walked into my studio
that's right.
and
That's
asked
right.
for lessons.
It's incredible.
Yes, as an optometrist, I walked in and
Yep.
then decided I'm gonna pivot before it's too late.
Good for you.
Dee,
Glad
are
you did.
I don't know if I'm muted.
Nope, we hear you.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, is she a member now of Spring Bowl?
Yes, so I just very recently became a member of Spring Bowl Gallery. So,
And you exhibit in another gallery or two, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, yes.
And you've done this all in 6 years.
Yeah, I've had really great teachers and support from my group, so
And you've worked hard.
I try, but the support and the the championing that we get from the group is really something special. I think it allows all of us to rise to our highest potential.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. And obviously, I think that attention to detail, there's definitely some connection there to your previous career influencing that. All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a refreshing shift in artwork. Really cool. Shar Highland is, there she is.
I'm probably I am the only abstract artist, I think, in the group. Although one of the others who's not participating in the show, Susan, also does abstract. So my goal is to win them all over.
Well, you have.
You are.
Yeah, you'll need to do a little, a little exercise in releasing,
I think a lot of people just don't understand it. And I think like your mind, if it doesn't recognize something, then it just doesn't know how to organize or sort it out. So you're just trying to figure it out. And it's really just the beauty and the color of what I'm trying to present.
Right. Oh, that's, yeah. There's like I don't know, at least the top two, there's a real like architectural sensibility there. What do you look to for your references? Or is it more intuitive?
My brain, but I do love geometry and geometric stuff. So
Right.
I've done a lot of edge paintings, and I'm trying to soften up the edges on these last few. And yeah, they were fun. And I'm going to try to get even a little looser, I think. We'll see.
This is something I'd be curious to know from everyone in the group. Is this generally like your most recent body of work that you're exhibiting here in this show?
This is mine. I think these, I did a show last year, and I think I did maybe 12 new pieces for it. Some of them were collage, but this is, I really love color. So I love to just get that color out there. And I haven't painted for a whole year, I'm ashamed to say.
Wow.
So even with COVID, so this is going to hopefully push me, get me going again.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So this next group of works is by Jill Tyler. This was, and I'm going to put a little shout out there to Aileen Quinn, who helped yesterday during the installation getting this organized. These paintings are just remarkable. And Jill did share an artist statement that says that although her work is representational, she's not interested in making things look real. I enjoy working with color and texture. Lately, I've been doing more painting in oil rather than my usual medium of pastel. Wow. My subject matter has often been organic things like animals and people. The paintings in this exhibit are of places I see while walking my dog around my neighborhood. The buildings themselves are somewhat ugly due to numerous misguided renovations. I can see beauty in the background atmosphere, the way the light hits the windows and the shadows and masked shapes in the space. And it's so tempting for me to look at the original works of art on the wall, but I have them here too. Yeah, these are fantastic. Anthony was raving about this group of work yesterday.
Two of them are have been shown before, but all the other ones are new.
Wow.
That was shown before.
And Jill, do you tend to have several paintings going on at one time and you move around between them, or do you finish one and then start a new one?
I have been finishing one, but I think it is better to have several at one time. I'm going to try and do that more.
Mm-hmm.
Jill is also a very accomplished portrait painter.
Oh.
She does a lot of work with Kate Huntington, and she brings to our critiques 5 to 8, sometimes 10 portrait studies in pastel and oil, and it's amazing. I'm just amazed. I mean, they'll give me credit, and I don't deserve credit other than nudging them and poking them. They do the work. It's incredible.
I couldn't do portraits this year because of COVID, so I
Right.
had to do something else.
These are fabulous. These I can't tell you how fabulous your wall, you know, holds the rest of our works together. And there's a lot of great work in this room. And,
I toned down the clouds in one of them as a result of the critique at breakfast, the one with the white fence.
right.
I don't know if people noticed.
That was the beginning of this series. I remember we held that one in a church, and we were very COVID separated. We got teas to go, delivered. Yeah, that one. And we'll critique, and they critique, and they critique tough. We do not patronize in our critiques. If anybody's been involved in any critique of mine, but this group is pretty hard on one
Wow,
another.
that's just great. All right. So now we're gonna, right behind me is Kevin Richard. His work.
Hello.
Hi. Okay.
Horses. Beautiful.
So let's see. I will let you, I've heard that you're pretty comfortable speaking. So
I am.
I'm going to let you take it away.
Thanks. Just first, thank you for the opportunity on behalf of the group. It's amazing to show, and especially during COVID, it's, I think more and more people need the arts at times like this, and it's been an area where people have really kind of flocked to. So we just want to give thanks to Warwick for allowing this. As far as my work, Anthony always teases me, says I'm very dramatic and sometimes melodramatic, but I'm really drawn to an emotional quality in work, and more in a subtle nature. I try to bring out as much emotion in a figure without much facial expression. I tend to be drawn to more contemplative figures, or the more contemplative side of life. I was a psychology major in undergrad and grad school, and I've worked in the psychology field for many, many years now. So I'm always interested in the inner part of the human psyche, and how alive it is, and how much can actually be projected out with very little kind of overt emotion. I'm a traditional painter. I paint in layers. It's a very slow process. Start with basic, grisailles sometimes, or brunellos, and just work from there. I love, love, love seeing paintings where the most subtle aspect of colors added through glazing. I love Bouguereau's paintings, some of the great figurative artists. And so these paintings are largely, representational. At this point, I want to leap. So this might be a jumping point for me. As you become more interested in figurative work and the human form, you have to learn how to construct, and it's a very hard thing to do. So I'm trying to move away from seeing so much visual reference and try to construct the human figure without becoming overly stylized. So it's a challenge, but it's probably the next area that I want to go as an artist.
Wow. I love that you just sort of like knew every question I was going to ask you and preemptively answered them. That's great. this, sorry, keep wanting to look at the artwork. But the group, the gentleman, okay, that painting, can you just tell us a little more about that setting? It just reminds me of
Much of the work actually comes from reference. I've done some work that it's more or less you take pictures of people. It's a challenge to work from pictures when you're dealing with people and to get more candid. So sometimes you do find reference photos that you make a derivative from that might be in the public domain. You know, I've shot photos of people when they're eating and doing different things. And I don't want to get arrested or go to jail, you know, just from being a stalker too much. So
yeah,
it's a challenge. So that's actually why I want to move a little bit towards the constructive side of figurative art, just to really build the human form and have the narrative really come from something from more imagination. So in part, I've been doing a little less painting lately and a lot more drawing and sketching. Just to see, you know, where that takes me. And once again, though, I want to have the underlining theme of trying to evoke and bring out the emotional side of the human form and of the psyche.
yeah. Awesome, really nice. Yeah, I like those, the guys playing chess. That's I feel like I'm right there. All right, so. Right, next up is Anthony Tomaselli. And you know that I think this is kind of one thing I wanted to ask you about, Anthony. Is this new? Is this recent works? Because I like how there's this sort of kind of sketch, fresh energy in there. You use watercolor. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, throughout my career, I've worked in many different mediums, and oil being probably the most focused. And a number of years ago, Bill Lane joined the art club, and I loved his watercolors. And I was like a frown on watercolor kind of guy. And, you know, but I loved his work. And I said, you know, I'm going to give it a shot and do it more seriously. So these are some of the works I did with Bill, without Bill. And it was an opportunity to put a group of this work together here. And so that's what you see. You know, my basic themes are city and sea, you know, bright and dim and aggressive. And so here you go. And they're, I don't want to say they're fun, because watercolors can be very daunting. I'm a little non-traditional in my approach with watercolor. But here they are. That's a pretty new one, actually, that one there. And I challenge myself in different ways. So watercolor is so different than oil in that there's a lot of planning ahead of time. Where oil, you can move things around more readily, more easily. And in watercolor, and Bill's exceptional. He teaches at the Providence Art Club. And actually, he took my oil painting class. I took his watercolor class for a while.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm a drawer. I draw, I preach. You want to paint in any semblance of realism, you need to draw. And watercolor made me draw even more, because I had to really place and plan a little bit more strategically. And there's like 5 or 6 great watercolor artists out there that you people should watch some of their videos. And you know, the names, Alvaro is the first guy that comes to mind. And there's another guy that spits all over his canvas, his papers. I don't know, any of you guys know the other names that are the people we watch the videos with Bill?
Alvaro.
Anyway, Alvaro Castanov is the main guy that I like. Herman Peckel, but Bill would show videos. It's a great way to learn different techniques. Anyway, the next person up is one of my favorite people in the whole world. No offense to the other 11 of you, okay?
All right, so Patty Sylvia. Yeah, these are, okay. So the group sent me their images ahead of time, And one that grabbed me right away is the group walking on the beach. Just, I don't know if that's like, I just love it. I think it's really sweet. It's like, kind of like this moment in time that, let me see if I can pull it up so I can look at it while I'm talking about it.
While you're pulling that up, Danielle,
Yeah,
Patty is modest. Doing multiple figures as she does is one of the most difficult things to do in all of art. Doing a single figure, a portrait, hard enough, but these multiple figured paintings she does, and she does them with such natural looking the visuals. It's just amazing. Anyway, Patty,
Yeah.
speak up.
yeah.
You're-
No, I know,
Okay.
I'm unmuted, I'm unmuted. I don't know what to say.
Tell us about your new space.
Yeah, you know Studio Gallery down there in Narragansett, you and Chris.
I just heard about it.
Yeah, my studio mate, Chris Webb, and I moved about a month ago. So it's all good. We're on Boone Street, 123 Boone Street.
I hope you have room for all of us.
Absolutely. Coming up.
Well, your paintings always wow me, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're really, so, yeah, do you have any personal connection to any of these, like, you know, in terms of the people in the paintings?
The Tuscan bread man, I was on a plein air painting trip to Italy, and I didn't do that one plein air, but took a photo of a man in Chianti delivering bread. So he's special. All of them. Only one of the paintings is a plein air. That's the side street. I just like to take a photo that means something to me.
Right.
The National, that one. Rowers, that's from the Head of the Charles Regatta in Boston. And rowing is special for me.
Oh.
And I think that's it.
Patty, I'm going to interject here. Patty is probably the purest painter in the group. She's the most natural, direct painter, and her color over the past 2 years has just, it just has blossomed. And then with her technique of direct application of paint, you people have to see these paintings. You have to go visit her and Chris down at their studio gallery there. And but her painting, I learned from everybody in the group, but I really watch and appreciate the way she handles paint and that direct application of paint, so alive. And we all talk about Sargent and all these painters and Homer, but Patty's got this wonderful direct application of paint and these colors that she brings to life. So
They're wonderful.
very, very modest, kind of.
All right.
We have a
Thank
brother-sister relationship, Patty and I.
This whole group, I mean, you guys are just amazing. Okay, great. So next up is Christine Webb, or Chris. And I do have an artist statement, but Chris, feel free to chime in. This is a really nice collection. Another thing I wanted to comment on, though, was I love how each artist, I mean, they mapped this out very carefully, but each artist had to kind of curate their own little mini show within this group show. And that I think was done really well. And again, as you saw in the video at the beginning, the collaboration was just wonderful. I mean, they, you know, the feedback from each other was really nice to see. I like that Something Fishy one that that is right below. Sue just showed that one. I don't know if it's because of my son's obsession with goldfish, but
Well, pretty much I started out doing plein air work before I did anything with still life. That basically is something that I started working on during COVID, during this year. And so that's new to me. And prior to that, I basically would work in plein air in the summer, and that's where Patty and I started painting together, was probably about 12 years ago, when we got together with another painting group of friends that would come down to Narragansett in the summer. So we would paint together, and then ended up going on 2 different trips. One was to Tuscany and the other was to Provence in France. So we've had some wonderful times to paint outdoors, but it was interesting to go to the still life this year. Now I try to take as many photographs as I can during the upcoming season, spring and summer, to have either as reference for a painting that I've started outside, or one that I can do during the winter from a photograph. The big sale that I have was, I was actually on that that boat, and it was done down in Anguilla. Not the painting, the photograph was taken there. And it was, again, a big challenge for me, because I hadn't painted that large before and enlarged a painting as big as that. So that's a challenge that I need to get back to.
So can you see the dimensions on that painting? Just that? No, okay. All right. So one thing I think is kind of sweet at the end of your, I'll transition by using from your artist statement a quote from Vincent van Gogh: "I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart." And I think that's a really nice sort of motto for the group.
Say that again, Danielle.
Yeah, I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart.
Amen.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Lorraine gets a little shout out for being the
Look at
organizer.
that painting. Look at that painting.
Yeah,
Oh,
to unmute.
guys are unbelievable.
Tell us about the COVID Tito's.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Oh, well, that was done during the COVID.
Yeah.
And several of these were done through the COVID and everything. I'm a traditional old master type still life paintings. You will see here in this display, I mixed it up a little bit with some things that have a little bit more painterly look to them versus my Tito's that is a little bit more traditional old masters type, simplicity, but very direct. This is my base, what I enjoy doing. But when I'm so intense on a painting, I veer off to my flowers, which are a little bit more lighter and livelier for me. But even when I'm done doing my flowers, I go back to a still life in order to set my base. But I'm enjoying doing the flowers now. That's kind of brought me into a new direction. I still consider them still lifes. I do the setups at home. I paint mostly from life. I will take photos during my process, so I get a better understanding as to where I'm going, where I need to go, or where I need to improve. But most of them are done at home, and I have an area that I just do all of my setups and everything. But I do enjoy going into a different area like this with the buildings, which is a big stretch for me. but I want to take on the challenge of working with a few more earth tones and work with architecture, which is not normally my thing.
Lorraine, do you
Yes.
think that that doing something like that, like you were very conscious and specific about what you wanted to challenge yourself with, do you think that stems partly from being in this group?
Yes, well, this group really, I mean, Anthony talked a little bit about it, but when we do meet, there's so much energy in that room when we talk about everyone's painting, simply because we actually have the experience of going along a path of artwork with each one of us. Each one of us, as Chris had said, she normally does landscapes and things like that, and is now going into working on still lifes. We all have the opportunity to experience that together. And that's pretty much what I do. I will do paintings, bring in a critique, and everybody go, nah, that's not working for you. Or, keep going down that road. You're really touching upon something exciting. So that's where you have the benefit of each other, and the variety that's in the group allows a nice conversation, sometimes a tough conversation. Anthony will say it. Our critiques can be, they're real critiques, and you have to hear the good with the bad, but that's how you learn, that's how you grow, and that's how you improve.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we're honored to have you in the show, and look forward. Oh, we have a question from Mike. Lorraine, what are your biggest challenges in replicating transparency in glass in your still life paintings?
Oh, I love doing glass. That's just, to me, I'm spending hours even doing the setup. Believe it or not, I spend so much time setting up the lights, and I am sitting there actually painting shapes. When I'm doing glass, there's shapes within the glass, then there's color within the glass, and keep moving and maintaining that transparency is the key. In this case, with this painting, it was keeping the softness of the leaves as well as that firm hardness of the glass. But the glass is so delicate when it's painted, very, very lightly. And but I enjoy that. Some other people don't know why I do it, but I enjoy that intense work. I must be more like Bob Lavoy. Bob likes to do that intense work. So we're on the same page there.
Yep.
How many hours a week do you paint, Lorraine?
Oh, I pretty much paint every day, but there's some days I can paint 3, 4, 5 hours easy. Yeah. And I have multiple paintings. I probably have 3 to 5 paintings going at all times. And I pick it up, work on it. If it's not working, put it down, come back to it to another day. Other than that, I would get bored. So I like having the variety of things going.
Well, Lorraine's artist statement is really, I mean, impressive, and all the things that she's involved in. But so I will put together a little book of artist statements for people that come to the gallery, and then of course we'll share online. We're trying to engage our patrons and friends to feel like they can still be a part of the gallery even if they can't physically come in. So,
and Danielle, thank you to you, and thank you very much to your son for doing the editing. And Aileen was absolutely so wonderful the other day, and Rebecca is always so kind to us. So we do, all of us, thank all of you there. We appreciate it.
Very nice of you to say. It's our pleasure. Okay, so last but not least, this painting.
Yeah.
So yesterday, let me back up. This is Stephen Schultz. And this particular painting is of a scene in Texas. And yesterday when he was installing, we had an older woman really, really admiring this painting and, up close. And then when we told her that the artist was here, she was, so I'm going to invite Steve to talk a little bit about his work.
Yeah, well, thank you, Danielle. And I want to echo what Lorraine and what Kevin said in terms of, thanking you and the Warwick Center for the Arts for having us. I think, as you've gone around the room, it's amazing, the quality of work, the diversity of the work. What a great exhibit. So hats off to this team. I mean, I love being a part of this group. It's just a tight knit group that shares and as Lorraine said, you know, critiques each other, and we learn how to critique. We learn how to take critiques. I mean, that's, you know, there's nothing worse than standing in front of your picture and having somebody walk up and start to critique it, and you don't know how to deal with that. You know, we take criticism and we convert it into productivity, into change, and into growth. So this group has, as Anthony said, really come a long way. So I'm a member of the Providence Art Club. I am a business executive. I paint as a hobby. I've been doing that for
No, it's not a hobby, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Steve,
Well, I've been
it's
doing it for
more than a
about 20
hobby.
years.
You are, as Pat, you have a degree in art, you paint. It's not a hobby. But go ahead.
It's a passion of mine, painting. And I think, you know, my artist statement is, I paint so that people can, you know, walk up to one of my pieces and stop and go into the scene. You know, this is obviously a scene that has intrigued me for one reason or another. And I want others to share in that, and you know, where it's a beach scene, or you know, or a dusty road in Texas, I want you to sort of smell that salt in the air, or listen to the breeze in the you know, in the trees, feel the cold of a winter painting. You know, I want to elicit those feelings in somebody that's standing in front of my art. And, you know, if you buy one of these and you put it in your home, or if I give you a painting, then, you know, it's there for you to walk by at any time that you need that inspiration. So that's why I do what I do. I love it. It's my goal to do it full time. But, you know, again, I'm sort of a full-time executive right now. I take classes with pretty much exclusively with Anthony at the Providence Art Club. But, you know, these are scenes that are near and dear to my heart. You know, the beach is an important place for me. I get much energy from the beach, whether it's standing on the beach or out in the surf. I surf a lot. This winter painting, I dig the winter, the cold. I've done a lot of hiking in the winter season. You know, this painting of this winter moon, you know, I want you to feel cold just standing in front of it. And then, of course, the Texas painting is a home that I've recently purchased outside of Austin, Texas. So I share my time between Rhode Island and Texas, and this is very typical of the landscape out there. There's two types of landscape. There's really broad view, open ranch lands, and there's these old, you know, 100-plus-year-old live oak landscapes. And I did, you'll see below there on the left, you know, a smaller study for the painting, where, you know, I'm sort of getting my thoughts organized, getting some lights and darks organized, and you know, it's clearly, you know, not finished to the level of a finished painting, but it did provide me with, you know, with information that I needed to be able to go into a larger 30 by 30 painting for the finished piece. So.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I think we'll give Susan her arms a rest. She's been doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
And I'd like to invite the group leader, Kevin, to kind of do some closing remarks for us.
Dave,
Thank you,
Kevin.
of course.
Thank you. It's just been such an amazing ride for all of us. And as Anthony said, it really was born out of an act of spontaneity. It wasn't anything that was planned. And yet it felt like it always needed to be. There is something really organic about the group. What is really special is, in so many branches, whether it's in work, life, what we teach sometimes, more Western thought, is this level of competition. And one thing I can honestly and genuinely say about this group is very little ego, in the sense of we're not competing with one another. We really have a sense of group pride. We really will have each other's joys, and also when things don't work, we all feel it. And, I think it was, excuse me, Matisse that said, every act of creativity is, it takes courage. But I also think it's this act of vulnerability that happens in the creative process. And when we share, I think there's probably mostly artists that, are maybe tuned in, and we pretty much create in isolation. And the dialogue that we all have with our work is between us and what might be on the canvas. And that's very personal for all of us. And then to come out in a group, and then to show it, and then to almost have that breadth of what's coming next. It's an act of vulnerability. And to be vulnerable with the group, it does take a lot of courage. Excuse me. So one of the foremost things that, excuse me, I just need water. I got something stuck. I'm not getting too emotional. Although the emotion might sound more authentic, the reality is I have food stuck. Thank you for bearing with me. It's just that cohesiveness and the ability to be vulnerable with the group. And I think, to Anthony's point, the level of growth that has brought about could never be done in isolation. It is really that group experience that has really challenged each one of us to really become better artists and to reflect. I mean, it's easy to become defensive at times when that critique is difficult. It's easy to say, well, I poured my heart into this, but you have to be honest with yourself when it doesn't resonate with others. And you can throw away your paintbrush, or you can go back. And all of us have decided to go back. And in many ways, it feels like a family, and it is a family. And it's something that's really special. It's not an elitist group. We tend to be around numbers anywhere from 11 to 13. It's just we made a commitment not to outgrow our table at teas. Sometimes groups get too big, you lose that intimacy. And this is something that we're committed to. And it is a passion. I think, as Steve had mentioned, it really is a passion for all of us. And it's a bit of sacrifice. It's time away from family, time away from work, it's time away from things, but it's all things we want to be part of. And it's been special. I hope this ride never ends. And for anyone that can come out and see the exhibit, whether it's virtually or they have an opportunity, please do so. I think one of the best things we can do as artists is to support one another and to make art part of the community. So, to the Warwick Center, I mean, this is just amazing. And we all know in today's day and age, and we all are part of it, how quickly everyone looks at images. On Instagram or Facebook, it's, swipe like, swipe. But to have that intimate relationship with work that is talking to you and speaking to you is something special. And to have these opportunities in galleries and with the Warwick Center is availed to us is just special. It allows communication to happen in the community. And you already, made some mention that where people already would touch. I think any artist, whether it's in our group or that's listening to this live stream, knows the greatest compliment sometimes you can get is that silence that is a sense of awe, or someone just saying the simple word of wow. For an artist, those are magical words. And to have that type of relationship and to know that's something we created, can resonate and potentially live long beyond all of us, it speaks to the power of the images and to the work of the artist and to this group. So for that, I am forever, grateful to this group, and just want to thank everybody for being part of this tonight. It's been really special for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. That was really
Thank you.
well said. Okay. I wonder if, just curious, I know some of you are planning to paint here on Sunday. Maybe just show of hands, who can we expect to see? All right. Oh, wow, Lorraine.
I
Jill.
tried. Yep.
Awesome. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
So again, if you're able, come by the gallery to see the show in person. Give us a call, reach out if you have any questions. We're going to end this with the video for any folks that may have joined the conversation late and would like to see those really fast artists hanging their artwork. So thank you for joining us on behalf of the members, the board of directors, and the staff at Warwick Center for the Arts. We really thank you for your partnership in keeping the arts alive within our community. And I'm also going to ask that you consider, here's my little plug for the fundraising campaign coming up by the United Way 401 Gives campaign. So we've set up a little page on there, and we are hoping to join in on the fun of April 1st, where Rhode Islanders can go online and donate to their favorite charities all in one spot. Also up next in the gallery after this show, Leaves will be a photography and digital arts exhibit, and that call for art submissions is currently open, and you can find more information about that on our website. So that's a wrap, I think. Take care, take good care, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.